So I've always identified as a dog person because I just always thought that cats were just very unpleasant to be around, and they are. Their spirits to me are very heavy and dark. I heard that people who don't like cats, people who are not cat people, just can't handle rejection. And at first I was like,
No.
no, but it's so true. Like, I can't handle rejection. I have attachment issues. I need to be attached to any animal I see, and if it doesn't attach to me back, and if it gives me these weird, evil signals and frequencies, then I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to make you love me, you know? So the problem isn't with cats, the problem is with me. And if you're opposed to cats, maybe you too have a problem with rejection. That's what I came to find out. Because my cat slander is so heavy. Like, cats do not deserve the things I say about them. Because I truly, like, I have said that cats were demonic before, and cats are not demonic. Like, they're just living their life. They're independent. They're independent people. Like, they're just fine. I just slander them so heavy because I can't handle it. But also, I've come to realize, like, I don't like regular short-haired cats because majority of them that are like very average, like the average regular house cat, the one that has like stripes and is like normal looking. I don't like those. I do like long-haired fluffy cats with like really cute faces. Normal average cats to me are just so uncomfortable to be around. And that's all I have to say about that. Something that like annoys me as a society that I'm happy that TikTokers are calling out. Well, not just TikTokers. I'm pretty sure there are probably people for years upon years that called out this scam, but the scam of anti-aging. Like, why the heck were we like, what's the one thing people can't change? Oh, the fact that they get older and visibly show it. Let's make products that claim that they can stop that or prevent that. Let's sell them like hotcakes. And they sold like hotcakes for like decades. Like, anti-aging things have been, anti-aging products were something I've been thinking about since I was 12. Like, since I was 12? Are you kidding me? Why was I thinking about anti-aging when I was 12 years old? I'd only been out in the world for 12 years. Are you kidding me? I was thinking about anti-aging. I was thinking like, oh, I'll just like put on the anti-aging serums and creams and now, so that when I do age, I'll be hella prepared. Which is so stupid. I was reading a comment the other day, and I don't even know where I found this, and I screenshotted it because it was really powerful, but it was like, aging is literally one of the greatest gifts you can ever have. And I was like, oh my god. It is. Like, the fact that we get to age is such a blessing. A lot of people don't get to age because a lot of people's lives are taken too quickly from them. But here we are getting to age, like, and I say this every single year, but I hope that when I'm older, I can wear my age proudly. And I'm not just saying that as somebody who's like blessed with like a consistent youthful look. The fact that I will always look 11 years old, that's not like, it has nothing to do with it. It probably does, because I probably won't look old until I'm like very old. The ick that I have with aging is that like we have commercialized it and made it into something that we should be scared of. I hate that. I was listening to a podcast by Sarah Shower. She was talking about how like it's funny that like when rich people don't want to admit that they're rich, they just say things like, oh, we're comfortable. Like, I remember having a high school teacher who said like, oh, I'm not rich, I'm just comfortable. And like that never rubbed me the wrong way, because I was like, I mean, that makes sense. Like, if you can afford a life and you don't have to struggle, you're living comfortably. But Sarah like brings up this hilarious point that's like, it's kind of stupid because like, look at the inverse. You wouldn't look at poor people and say like, oh yeah, they're uncomfortable. Like, it's crazy though, because when I was poor, I was very uncomfortable. Me and my uncomfortable homies were very, very uncomfortable with our living situations. Like, You know, with the whole term pick me being popular, I kind of feel like there are certain pick me's for certain archetypes. You know what I mean? There are pick me's when it comes to the original term of a pick me, which is, oh, a woman who acts like she's not like other women for the approval of men. So she says cringy things to make her stand out from other women, even though she is a woman. Like, you're just a woman. Like, you're not like cooler or better than anybody else for being like, for having a unique perspective on certain things. You know what I mean? But like the idea of a pick me to me applies to so many type of people. Like the type of people that act like they're so much better than like the regular person. The type of pick me, there's like the food pick me or like the drinks pick me. Like the type of pick me that's like, ew, I don't like milk. Who can just drink milk? Like milk is so disgusting. Are we five? Are we five? I could never just drink milk. I could never drink a glass of milk. Shut up. You drank milk to survive from the time that you were 0 to like whatever age you breastfed or were bottle fed. Like, stop acting like you're above milk, bro. You're only here because of milk, okay? And I understand that like Big Dairy like wanted to commercialize milk and get it popular because like I'm guessing there were low milk sales. But like, and I understand that like Big Dairy is just a corporation trying to sell something, and so they did the whole like got milk thing. I understand that, but it's also like, okay, it worked though. Like, I enjoy a glass of milk with a cookie. I enjoy a glass of milk with nothing, bro. I will get up in the middle of the night, have a glass of milk, and enjoy it. Just because some of us are not intolerant doesn't mean that you have to be. Like, who is out here just purchasing magazines anymore? Why is that still happening? I go to Walmart, I like look at the magazines, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of entertaining for like a second. Like, oh my god, pretty fonts, pretty colors, pretty people on magazines, and then I'm over it. Like, has anybody under the age of 65 bought a magazine to legitimately scroll through and get some sort of like kick out of? I feel as I'm getting older, I don't feel like parents have favorites. I think that some parents genuinely just don't like some of their kids and just can't say it because that's abuse if they admit it. Like, it's 2023. I was gonna say it's 2022 because I'm in denial. Like, we just sound like we're too futuristic at this point. At this point, it just feels unreal to be in this century, you know? Like, it's so, it being 2023, I want us all to reevaluate just everything in our lives. And one thing that I have put some heavy thought into is just, why do we still have people that send family photos out so you can put them on your fridge? And why are people putting them on their fridge anymore? The whole reason we have social media well, the whole reason most families or people or moms have social media is to keep up with their peers. So, like, we all know what you look like. We all know what everybody looks like at every moment, unless, like, a family just doesn't have social media, which is, like, doubt it. I mean, like, I have a photo of my niece on my fridge right now because I don't see my niece all the time. But I don't need to see all of you as a family just on the fridge every day. To me, that it feels so outdated. We do not need that practice anymore. I could understand it like years ago, you know, but now it's just like, it needs to stop. Let's let it stop. Stop putting families on the fridge. We are too enamored with pregnant celebrities. We are like so, as a nation, obsessed with Rihanna's pregnancy that it is just a problem that has not really been addressed. Not only Rihanna's, but like just the weight that we put on celebrities is so overwhelming to like constantly read about. As a 23-year-old, like I know that I'm pretty young, but I feel like what's showing my age. What's really weirding me out as I'm getting older is that like all of the interests that I have as a 23-year-old versus the ones that I was 12, I feel like as a nation, we should all be aging out of them, but I feel like we aren't. Like, why are we so obsessed with, like, looking into, well, I mean, I know why, because it sells, because, like, at the end of the day, everything is a business. Even the celebrities themselves are a business, so, like, it only serves them and us and the media to like focus on them. But like I'm going more and more uncomfortable with like looking into articles about like, oh, Jennifer Aniston ate a hot dog today. She hasn't eaten meat in 12 years. Like, why do I even care about that? Why am I like looking at this article that has nothing to do with me? Like, I'm such a slave to the media because that's just the way that we've been like brainwashed to think that like if we look at certain like desirable actors, writers, singers, entertainers, like we'll be fulfilled a little bit in our lives too. And as I'm going out of that, I'm noticing that there's so many articles about like pregnant women. Like the the media's had a ball with the fact that the Kardashians have been pregnant probably I mean at different times, like all of the sisters have been pregnant for like the last decade. Like every time there's a new Kardashian Jenner, the world goes crazy and it's kind of disgusting. Let's not be excited for Rihanna's baby, be kind of afraid because like Rihanna's just literally going to be birthing nepo babies that are gonna take your entertainment jobs. Like y'all are going to praise this baby out of Rihanna, and then they're gonna grow up to become a nepo baby who's gonna become a like singer or actress or writer or director, and then y'all are gonna hate it because it was a born. But then y'all were cheering it on when it was born. So like what? There is something that boils my blood about picky eaters who refuse to try new things. There is something so elitist about that. I don't even know what it is. But like I'm not saying elitist in the way that they only try like nice foods, you know, and they don't try poor people food. But like the fact that you could be somebody who's a picky eater and then the fact that like, oh, I'm just picky is like good enough for you to not try new things or try like certain cultural foods is like so aggravating. I go through this with my husband all the time. Is the entitlement of picky eaters is so disgusting to me that it's just like, oh yeah, well that's what my taste buds are comfortable with, so I'm gonna only have what my taste buds agree on, and we're not liking the look of this. Like that's what picky eaters to me give, and it's so annoying. When I was in college, I would much rather be friends with somebody who grew up poor than somebody who grew up financially stable. The difference between people who have just had things easily accessible to them their whole life versus people who've had to adapt due to scarcity is like a very different experience. As an adult, I no longer can say that I'm poor. I say that like my income is like a little bit low. So like everything I'm gonna be referring to in relation to like financial status is like how I grew up. I grew up financially stable until like we moved to the States, and like middle school and high school were rough. They were rough. They were uncomfortable. But like the people that you would hang around that were also poor were like the funniest, most creative, most entertaining people you could ever be around. Like people who don't have a lot of money make a lot of joy out of just nothing. Like make jokes out of the fact that like you would go to Target and be like, do I want an accent pillow or do I want to eat my next 5 meals? Like it is just so much fun being around people who grew up without lack of with lack of resources. Like growing up poor and experiencing, well, not growing up poor, being poor for a certain amount of time, um the community that created, far better than any community I would have created if I was like financially stable, like comfortable. I'm gonna make a video about this and I don't know how to make it properly because it's not gonna get a lot of support unless the girls who get it will watch it. And that'll be such a small percentage that it almost makes me not want to do it and make it like a Patreon video whenever I have enough of an audience to make a Patreon. But I've come to the realization that God is a woman because I'm married to a man. Like, because this is not like a bashing men type of a video. I just in advocating for women, I just feel like there's so many qualities about women that just make me feel like, oh my gosh, like women have not been given the opportunity to be in like very prominent leadership positions. So the way that I grew up, I felt like I didn't see like very powerful women unless they were on like a TV screen or like on the radio. You know what I mean? Like, I just it's a shame that we grew up with women systematically oppressed, because like the natural, this is like also such a broad generalization. The natural traits of a woman that are very like caring and motherly and caregiver like, typically like those are very womanly traits that don't need to be confined to a household. Yet I also hate when people say like, "Oh, man of the house, you need to let the man be the man of the house." What? What household has ever thrived in that saying? Like, man of the household. My husband could never be the man of this household. Um Me and my husband very gladly like share tasks and do life together equally. Like, there is no way I would let my husband be the man of this house and run this house. I just think to myself, like, in what household have you seen like a man be the man of the household, the children all prefer them as like a parent, as their favorite parent, and for the house to be running smoothly, and for the men not to like low-key be a serial killer on the side? Like, for real. Women need to be women of the household, especially as like I am the only one who works. I'm the only one who's making an income. I am the full-time provider for the both of me and my husband. And yet, and also am the only one who like cooks meals during the week. It used to be, I used to ask my husband to do it because like I wanted us to be equal or whatever, because I do believe in equality. But I also just, I don't see like his interest in it, so I'm like, whatever, I'll do it. Like, I have an interest in it and I want our food to taste good, you know? The idea of a man being a man of the house is so silly to me as somebody who's working full time and supporting the both of us and also tending to the household. It's a little bit silly.